Hi, everybody. Welcome to Legacy Stories. This is Maria and
This is Coua. Hello.
hey. So, today, Kua, you
Yeah.
suggested that we talk about our wins, and I love that suggestion.
I did suggest that. I thought it would be fun to just share some celebrations that we have in our lives. And the whole premise of it is I think, as immigrant children, that's not something that, at least for me, that you just really did, unless it was like a milestone celebration. Other than that, it just like the normal everyday living, there was no celebration. So I thought that it would be cool to just kind of like throw in some almost, I feel like random celebrations that I think we should normalize in our daily lives.
Yeah, it's interesting. I also thought about it, and I'm like, I think celebration is like more like how families do it.
Mhm.
But I also thought about culture, and culture-wise, I think my people celebrate a lot. Like we have a lot of holidays, a lot of like these same days, a lot of different ways to celebrate things. But again, it's like a communal celebration. And I think celebration of the small wins, especially for women, it's something that they kind of brush off. There's not a
Absolutely.
lot of women that I know that are like, oh yeah, I did that well,
Yeah.
right? Or they will be considered like a little bit arrogant or a little bit like,
Yeah. Like,
that's what they think they're going to be considered like, so they don't do it. So
yeah.
I also like, I don't remember this, and maybe it's a universal thing that people just don't celebrate things a lot. Many people will say the things that they suck at and everything, but not many people will be like, oh yeah, no, I'm really good at that. I have not heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, agree. So let's like normalize that. And plus, like when you do that, I mean, what it's done for me is it's just really helped. I mean, you know about this, Maria, confidence. It just has built my confidence up so much more.
Yeah, because for our brain, it's normal to constantly, it has that like bias where it's constantly searching for negatives.
Yeah.
So we almost have to kind of push it in the direction of finding our wins, finding things that were like, that are positive in our life. We kind of have to push it that way. And
Like,
that's why kind of like realizing little things that you do.
yeah.
The funny thing is like we all get really excited when we're doing something or before we're going to do something. But then afterwards, it's like we don't give much thought to it. Not even like small things, but like even big things. I remember when I graduated, I
Yeah.
was so excited, like right towards it. And I was trying so hard. And then it happened. I was like, oh, yeah.
And then it was over, right?
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't like it did not do like anything.
Uh-huh.
So give me some of your wins. You want to start first?
Sure.
Let's do like,
Let's alternate. Let's alternate. So I'll go,
yeah.
I'll throw one out first. So the first thing I want to celebrate is that I have now attended 37 pair bar classes. So I've said on here before that this year I started working out again. I started focusing on my health. So I'm just super proud of myself for completing 37 classes. That feels like such a huge accomplishment. And I'm really proud of this body of mine for being able to do all of that.
Yay! A little round of applause. I
How,
have one a brand new one. Last night I went out. My friend had a birthday,
uh-huh.
and we took her out. And I went out, and I was out from 4, and I got home at like 7:30 ish. And see, my mom brain always does this thing where it's like, I gotta go. It's bedtime. Oh my God. Like, it's like, my husband's like, yeah, go do this thing. He never pressures. Like, he's always like, he's fine. He can handle the kids. He handles kids in the morning. He can certainly handle them in the afternoon. It's not a big deal. So, logistically, I understand that it's all fine. However, my brain is like on this, we gotta rush mode. And I've noticed that it's doing that. So, I have been being like, it was even a little bit uncomfortable last night to be like, oh my God, it's 7. The baby, like, for sure is like exhausted. Is he sleep? Like, my brain was freaking out. And I'm like, nope. Their dad knows what he's doing. He is fine. They're safe. They're fine. And even if they're not, even if they're, a little bit extra tired and don't fall asleep exactly, it's still fine. And it was so funny that, like, that mommy instinct, that thing that's like, it really pushes you not to enjoy yourself. And I really was like, no, we're gonna have fun here and we're gonna leave all together, because my instinct is usually like, I get so nervous that I leave early, that I'm like, no, I can't take this. Like, I gotta go now. I gotta take care of the kids. And
Yeah.
it's really not true.
Right. Oh,
So
so
that's my win, like recent, newest, brand new win.
so much.
So that's
Um,
your second one.
all right, second one. Um, so I want to celebrate that I have been doing what I said I would do with my money. So there's two examples of this. I know, right, Maria? And this is really huge for me because in the past, I sometimes would say I wanted to do something with the money, but I didn't do it. And then the money was gone, obviously. But this time, there's two things I want to point out. Like, we are going on spring break starting this Saturday. We're going to Florida. And I said that I would spend like this money that I have on this trip. And I did. I did it. And the funny thing is, like, when I was going to book, it's like I planned it so much in my head already, even before I got to that point, that when I got to that point, though, it was weird because it was like now all of a sudden, like I feel weird. Like I feel scared to use this money. Like, shit, it's actually here. I can actually press the button. And then it's like I felt frozen a little. And I really had to like coach myself through that. I even texted my sister and like it was like it felt like this whole big thing. Obviously I ended up booking and we are going. And then the second thing is, before this call I had a lady over to measure and to go over selections for window treatments for two of my rooms. So I'm super excited for that. We've lived in this house for 3 years and now it's just finally time to get some window treatments up in my house.
So exciting.
Thank you.
That's such a good goal, though. Like, do what you kind of say you're gonna do with your money. That's like a good goal. See, I don't have issues with that part of it. But like, it sounds like something, like, for me, it's like, oh, like, I don't already do that. But it's like, such a good goal
It
when
is.
you don't, when the money goes and you don't do what you want to do.
Right. Right. And I think for me, like that's where um kind of like the push and the tug comes in with money because you're not following through with your intentions with your money. So then it's like money money just gets the bad rap then. Like it's money's fault. But really you have to really like dig inside and see what's happened there.
Yeah, take the responsibility.
For sure. Okay.
My second one is also a recent one. So I have been building a website, like, page at a time. And I've learned so much and I've done so many pages. Like, I've done like 3 pages at this point, three and a half.
Mhm.
And, it takes me time. I'll fidget with it. I'll fidget with what I'm writing. I'll fidget with the forms. I'll fidget with it. It takes days. I mean, I don't sit there for days and do it, but like sit hours and like I'll go back and forth to it and keep fidgeting and keep changing colors. And this last time, the last page that I was building, I was like, we have the color scheme. We know what we're doing with writing. Make it simple, make it easy, make it straightforward. And I was done in 3 hours with the content, with the whole website, with the form that I needed to put in, and like determining ahead of time that this is what's happening. Like, I'm gonna be done. And I did not decide in 3 hours. I said, like, I'm gonna be done with this today. Like, I have a few hours today. I can sit and I'm gonna be done with this web page. And I was done. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to promote this now. How exciting. Because I'm not gonna spend the rest of the week
Yeah.
revisiting, touching it, and like, and I could. And I know my brain is like, but we
Yeah.
could make it pretty. And it's like, no, it's pretty enough. It's good. Like, we're not fidgeting with it.
It's almost like those are your distractions from keeping you from finishing it and you just shut it off, or it's almost like you look the other way like nope, I'm going this way, not that way. So good.
Yeah, I love it. What's your third one? Final one. Come on.
Third and final one. So recently um I discovered I finally became aware that I need some help with parenting. Um so my oldest just turned 12, and it's just been like 11 was a tumultuous year, like I'm sure for her, but for me too. Like, and it was just like new territory. And I felt like my relationship with her was like cycling, like going in a cycle. And I am the type of person that if I'm in a relationship with you, like we are on like this growth, like we're on a growth curve. And with her, it really felt so cyclical. And I was just at this point where it's like, I don't know what else to do. So then what I did was I knew a parenting coach, and I reached out to her, and I actually got myself a session with her. So I just want to celebrate that I saw myself and I got myself support, because that's actually something as a woman, and definitely as an immigrant woman, like that's hard to do, right? Because we see our parents, like for me, I saw my parents working so hard, never getting any help. And so that is kind of like an idea in my head where I have to do everything by myself. But I really, in that moment, I'm proud of myself for letting that idea go and doing this for myself. And it's just helped. I had the session yesterday, and I already see how it's helped me today.
Wow. Good job for like becoming aware and admitting. First is like becoming aware there's a thing, and then admitting that you need help and being willing to ask for help versus brushing it off. I should be able to deal with this on my own. It's not a big, like, something, or making it be something is wrong with me or with her, like, being shit. That's so big. That's huge. No, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, nothing wrong with asking for help.
Yeah, 100%.
My last one is interesting. So, you know how I think before Brene Brown kind of said it, nobody was like into understanding what numbing was and
Okay.
what we numb with. And I've really spent these 3 years immersed into numbing and understanding my numbing and how it's like it really transfers from me from place to place, and how you can really numb with everything or anything. And sometimes, for some things, it's like people who exercise too much or people who clean too much. It's like not that's how they numb and escape their thoughts and feeling, but actually that's socially encouraged, so it's okay, right? But and then before I used to say like, oh, I am just like, I like to eat my feelings or stuff like that. And then understanding that there's other stuff there that, like, partially we numb, we buffer because we're trying to not feel bored, or we're trying to avoid our feelings, or trying to basically being bored is a feeling too. So it's still like trying to avoid a feeling, but and sometimes it's like a defense mechanism. But for me, the last thing that I'm numbing with right now, it's progressed over time, it's shifted, and now it's K-dramas. And if you asked me a year ago, I would be like, no, hell no. First, I would be embarrassed to even say aloud that that's like my thing now. And I can say it aloud now. I'm like, yes, I like them, whatever. And then the part of me was like trying so hard to stop, like not watching them, but stop numbing and stop escaping when I don't want to deal with life and I don't want to be there and I don't want to, like, just feel the emotion and stop escaping all the time into it unconsciously, right? Being like, I'm fine. Like sometimes you're gonna numb. It's like life happens, it's fine. But I was doing it a bit much. And
Mm.
then it hit me. It's like, I'm never gonna do this unless I want to do this. And I don't want to. I really like this. So
Yeah.
like I have all these thoughts that create all this desire in me for these dramas because they're fun, right? They're made to be fun. They're a
Yeah.
little like addictive because that's how they're made. They're like condensed
Meant to be like,
life,
yeah,
right? It's
yes.
amazing. It's a lot of, they're made to be fun. They're made for us to enjoy. And they do a great job. And I'm like, I don't want to. And then it's like, so the thing that I actually started working with was, I want to not watch K dramas. like, and I was trying to like schedule them and everything. And then suddenly it just like out of nowhere, my biggest win was just realizing that they're not good or bad. Like I've been working on that thought for a year now. And it just like the circumstance of the actual K drama, there is a show on Netflix, right? It's put up there. It's
Yep.
not a bad thing and it's not like a good thing. And I was, even the thought work that I was doing around stopping, I was making it in a way bad or good,
So
right? It
good.
was like, oh, I should not be doing this. And then it was like, oh, I want to not want to do this. Oh, but they're so good and they're so interesting. Like I was moralizing them. So I couldn't let them go because I made them so like, whenever things are good or bad, we have trouble letting them go. And that's what I did with Kim drama. And just the fact that it hit me, it's just like, it's just a show. It's a show. It's like some people will enjoy watching it, some people will not.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that there's like dramas that I like and dramas that I don't like. And like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I wasn't even capable to get to that point. And now I realized, oh, I'm slowly starting to see that there's certain ones that I like. And
Mhm.
there's certain ones that are very predictable, very hallmarky in a way that I
Yep.
don't enjoy. And like, there's like, I was like, oh, okay, look, I have preferences. So I'm just happy that I'm like, it's been something that I've worked on for so long. And it's like a very slow progress. It's not like I do this on daily basis, but it's like small shifts, small things left and right. And finally, it seems like puzzle is coming together for me.
It's like you're letting yourself enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah.
I love that
And
so
I
much.
truly,
It
and I
it
truly
gives you
enjoy
that
it more when I'm like, I want to watch it now. Like I spend like the time there. I enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Versus when you're trying to numb with it, you're not even present for it,
yeah.
really.
It's like the whole energy that you're watching with is different. Because if you're anticipating and you're like, "Oh my god, this is so good, and I can't wait," like, that's different than like, "Shit, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this." So, so good. I love K-dramas too. So, I'm right there with you.
So, do we have any tips for wins?
Hmm, let's see here. Do you have any off the top of your head?
Okay, so my thing is,
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm really not for people silver lining things. Like, it's not about taking a thing that's not working out. It's saying, oh, but in this way, it's going to be good. So,
Mm,
it's small wins are really not about silver lining it. They're
okay.
really about putting a seed in your head that
Mm,
there's things that we do
mhm,
every day and we do them well and we could just celebrate them. And even if it's some days you just feel like crap and you don't want to get out of bed and then you do and being like, look, I did it. It's literally about very small things and taking notice of them. And if you're somebody who wants to write them down or like get an app or put a reminder or something, it doesn't have to even be daily, it doesn't even have to be that, but just having a little seed, a little idea in your head that, celebrating the smallest things, it just over time really changes your mind, changes how your brain works. And then you kind of on autopilot start noticing. If you asked me a couple of years ago to notice the small things in my life,
yeah.
it would really take me time and pen and paper to come up with them. And now I just notice them more and more. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm a professional, but like just the idea that like I'm not I'm not like I don't even do it every day, but like I will catch myself being like, oh yeah, my
Go Maria.
kids my kids are fighting and I am not pissed off. This is amazing, right? Or like look how good the bread is. And I don't like the pressure of telling it to other people. I don't put that on myself. I'm like, I don't have to share this win on social media. I don't have to make this big deal. Just seeing it for me because it's my brain.
Yeah, yeah. That's such a good one. And I feel like mine just adds to that. Like, really make it a habit because that's when you start to see, like, oh, this is why I'm celebrating. And this is why I'm telling myself these things, because it literally makes you a different person. You're going to become a different mother. And Maria gave the perfect example. Like, kids are throwing a tantrum and you're there all calm and in control of the situation. That's amazing. Such a good win.
And it doesn't happen every time. And I'm like, I celebrate when it happens. And if it doesn't, it's like, well, still freaking human here.
And I think the celebrating, then it helps you notice every single time that it happens, which that is really what I would drive home, for you to actually start noticing and taking credit. And again, I think that just like with being a woman, like that's really hard to do, like taking credit for everything that we do. And my tip would be to like look in your house, and like anything that you contributed towards, just say to yourself like, yep, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. I mean, I'm just looking around here, it's like, yep, I wiped the counter, that was me. I did the dishes, yep, that was me. And even when I look at like my kids, it's like, yep, I did that. Like, start taking that like mental note of like everything you see that you had a part of and that you contributed towards. Just say, I did that.
It's like you are validating yourself. And that's how we change our brains. And that's how we get more confident. And that's how we,
Right.
that's how life gets, I don't
I
want to say better, but it gets more pleasurable. It gets nicer to live your life.
Yeah. It's like you just get so much more comfortable being you, because you are now seeing all the good that you project out into the world, and you're finally like taking credit for all of that stuff. And when you do that, it's like, okay, well, why wouldn't you want to be more of yourself, and why wouldn't you want to give more of yourself?
Good job. Amazing. We did so good. I'm so proud of this episode.
So fun.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.